What's up, guys? It's your boy, the Piscine Predator. I'm back with that TPP True Crime Talk Live, baby. Let's go. Before we jump into live, for all of you that follow, can you smash that like? For any of you that haven't subscribed yet, can you smash that subscribe for your boy so I can get this channel growing a little bit? I appreciate it greatly. Man, we got a few topics today. We have a few topics for this one. We got a little bit on the Idaho 4, right? We got some news, some actual news today, right? And then, I'm gonna touch on a little bit of the rumors and maybe why those rumors, popped up, because I got a little inside from somebody that used to live out in that area who's connected with some people. You know what I mean? It's not enough for me to do a full video on, but I'm gonna sprinkle that in to give you something to think about. And then we're also going to cover one that's hard, man. This one's hard, and that's the West case. I want to go by the boys' real names, and that was, Sincere and Classic Pettis. And yeah, man, this one's rough, obviously, because it's children, and it happened out here where I'm from in Bakersfield. So we'll be touching on that. And then last but not least, we got some crazy stuff coming out on this Jesse McFadden situation out in Oklahoma. Man, we'll get to it. But let's go ahead. Let's jump into this Idaho 4 situation. Mr. Kohberger has now been indicted by the grand jury. That's right. And I think that would kind of explain a little bit why there was a back and forth, battle going on with defense and prosecution over the exculpatory evidence. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because, everybody had speculations on, why isn't, the prosecution giving this up? And that just created more, rumors and speculations and whatever and whatnot. But, I'm starting to look at it now like they kind of knew where they were headed with this grand jury indictment. So it was like, knowing now that he's been indicted, his arraignment for this indictment is Monday. So it's like all of a sudden his defense team has a whole different dynamic to deal with. So it's like, yeah, I'm sure prosecution's going to give up all the evidence that the defense wants eventually. I just feel like it was a little bit of a chess move. And I could be wrong. But definitely it felt like that, because it didn't really make sense why they didn't want to give it up. A lot of people, speculated, well, the prosecution didn't want to give it up to the defense because, there's some stuff in there that might exonerate, Kohberger. And I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, there's so much evidence against him right now. It just, what could they have? What could the defense receive from the prosecution as far as exculpatory evidence that's going to clear this man? It's not. And then there's all the speculations with, the roommates, the surviving roommates and everything. And, why they don't want to have any part of this trial and this and that. It's like, okay, plain and simple. There is nothing that they can say besides, one of them being able to place a bushy eyebrow dude in the house the night that it happened, right? Outside of that, there's nothing that these two surviving roommates are going to be able to say that's really going to, prosecute this man. Only thing that they're going to be able to do with this situation with them too is they're going to be able to call into question, the investigation, things that went on in the morning, and trying to create doubt as far as who was there, who was involved, what these girls might have been involved in. And there's just a lot of things that defense can do that it'll take, the focus off of Kohberger and create some doubt, even though I think at this point, we all know, dude, like at this point, this dude's guilty. And like I said, time and time again, FBI gets in this, them boys get into this investigation and they're bringing you in. You know you're in trouble. You know it's done. The conviction rate is insane. So that being said, yeah, I think that whole exculpatory evidence thing and all the rumors and hearsay and speculations that spun off of that, I think it was all nonsense. And I think it came down to prosecution knew that the grand jury indictment was coming, so they were just gonna like hold off, and then hey, we'll give it to him now, right before he has to go in Monday and decide what he wants to do. Because now you're the grand jury indictment, right? I mean, is he going to plea out? Is he going to go ahead and admit to it? Because think about it, man. If he does not cop a plea bargain and admit to this stuff, he's screwed. He gets convicted. He's up for the death penalty. I don't know. I just don't see. I don't see him pleading to it. Honestly, I think he's going to try to fight it. He seems like that type of person with that personality where he thinks he's that smart and probably thinks that he covered his tracks that much. So, yeah, he probably won't, catch a plea deal. But if he was smart, he probably would, because otherwise it's like he gets convicted of this. It's firing squad, right? Like, I thought that was pretty crazy that right after these murders happen, they go ahead and reinstate firing squad as an option for the capital punishment, which it's crazy. But I know there's a lot of people that are, they're all for seeing it, or not maybe physically seeing it, but, knowing that it happened, that this man, had to stare down a barrel of, some guns and get dealt with that way. Okay. Now, those are the things we know. For a fact, we got the jury indictment. I speculate a little bit on exculpatory evidence, but let me explain something, man. There's been a lot of rumors, a ton of rumors, you know what I mean, that have come from this case. And it's come from locals that have, found their way onto, true crime creators' lives, giving, these rundowns of how things go there in Idaho, there in Moscow, Idaho. And, I sat back and I listened to it for months and months. And, I came out and would just, speak up against it. Like, things just didn't make sense. But recently I got contacted by an individual who has some experience living in that town, has experience with how things work there, and not just experiences, personal experiences, but like, friends that are from there, that are, connected there. And, some of these rumors and speculations, they're wild, but they were kind of based on some things that, kind of happened there. Not kind of happened, they actually happened there. And, I did some digging on what I was told by this individual, and was able to vet at least people that he talked about, some of the places he was talking about. And, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. He had told me about some things that happened before this murder took place, and some things that happened after this murder took place. And, I can't verify. I know that some of these things have happened, but I can't verify the connections. And, I can't come out and just make a video on these things because there's not enough evidence for me to do it. But all I can say is, let's put it this way: just go do some research on Moscow, Idaho. Go do some research on a lot of the crazy deaths that have taken place there, especially ones that are, involving the college. And it'll make you start thinking, and it'll at least make you understand why some of these people came out and started talking on these podcasts and these lives, like trying to give some inside facts about how things go. I think some of it was true. I don't think, what they were saying about this exact case, not all of it was true, and some of it might have been true, now that I went and researched some of the stuff. But I'm just saying, guys, go back and look at the cases of deaths surrounding that college prior to the Idaho 4 murders happening and after the Idaho 4 murders happened. It might surprise you. It might make you think. Now, am I saying that to say that Coburg is tied into these type of things? That's yet to, be seen. Until we get some more information, evidence, the trial starts. Some of my questions, based on things I've been told, I'm going to need that evidence before I can put it all together. Now, during this trial, whenever it does finally happen, during this trial, if there's things that come out that line up with stories I've been told by, an inside source that I can vet and link up to names and this and that, like I'm gonna make videos on that. I'm definitely gonna cover it. You know what I mean? I can't give up my source on it, obviously, because a lot of people that are, got that inside, they don't want the heat from the internet. I mean, come on, dude. Nobody wants that heat. I mean, just to get up and do a YouTube channel, especially on true crime. I mean, you gotta be kind of, you got a little crazy, right? Because they're gonna catch you. You're gonna have haters. You're gonna have people trolling, and it's crazy. So the average person, they want to help if they know some stuff, but it's like they don't want to put themselves out there like that and have the whole internet come down on them. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I understand what the source is like, keep me confidential. This is what I know. You can go vet it yourself. And, if some information comes out during this trial that link up to what I'm telling you, you know what I mean? Run with it, man. Make some videos on it. Let the people know what's up. So that being said, that kind of explains why we've heard rumors from people, from locals, and why we're still hearing them. I mean, you still have, I know one channel that's had one of the college students up talking about this and all the different things that it could be. There's a lot of people talking about the whole drug connection and this and that, and it possibly could have been. Who knows? We still haven't figured out Koberger's exact connection to that house and to the people in it. We have speculations that he could even targeted the house out of opportunity because of like its location and logistics, which makes sense. But we also are hearing that he could have possibly, been in contact or even went out on a date with one of the girls, and it didn't go good. And he got shut down. He was trying to get a hold of him, message him through Instagram, whatnot, and they just got shut down. It wasn't happening. So some of these rumors might have validity. Well, we don't know. You know what I mean? At this point, it is just literally that, rumors and speculation with no actual hard evidence. So I can't really run with it completely. It's just something, that I wanted to touch on if we're going to go ahead and talk about Idaho, Florida Day and Koberger, in which we had to because that indictment just came in. We just found out about it this morning. And I don't know. It didn't really surprise me when it happened. I know there was a lot of people in law enforcement, that were talking about they don't even know why it hadn't gone to that anyways. So I figured it was coming. And it kind of, like I said, it kind of makes sense why there was that back and forth with exculpatory evidence with the prosecution and defense. So that's what I got for you guys on the Idaho 4 situation. Now, I want to go ahead and jump over to the West trial, right? And like I said, I'm not going to refer to the boys by their adopted name anymore. We'll just refer to the boys as, Sincere and Classic. Man, it's we're going to start into the whole verdict watch now, right? We've had the closings and all that. Was a trial I wanted to follow. Obviously, being here in Bakersfield, I wanted to follow that. I wanted to do like dailies on it and this and that, but they shut that down. It was like there's no information. There wasn't going to be broadcasted. You can't stream it. Basically, to cover it all, you had to listen to it by audio, and you had to take notes, and then you had to report on that. I didn't have the luxury of having that type of time to be able to sit in and listen and take notes the whole time. So that kind of bummed me out because I really wanted to cover this case, obviously being from here, and it has affected this community. A lot of people know about it. And since I couldn't do that, I didn't want to do no half butt job covering that out of respect for, where I'm from. You know what I mean? Plus, there was people that were covering it. You know what I mean? Like there's a couple creators that spent the time, listened, were, posting update videos, breakdown videos every day, and then, posting to Twitter and all that. So, that's why I said my little piece at the beginning of the trial, and then I was going to wait till the end and when I could get a hold of, more of the facts. I'd already kind of had, we already kind of had the facts before we went into this, but we learned more during the trial. So as far as that goes, I believe they're guilty. I think most people believe they're guilty. It's like the timeline that we've learned from witnesses from the West, Trezell and Jacqueline's own biological children, the stories that they told basically on the stand. Between that and other witnesses, it's just the timeline layout, the evidence, the video evidence from the home, in California City. It you look at it all, the timeline. It's in there's They did it. There's no way. And then, in my strong opinion, I do believe the way that they disposed of those kids. Trigger warning is I believe that I believe they pulled a Leilani Simon basically. You know what I mean? It is like we have a neighbor saying that he witnessed uh, Trezell and Jacqueline carrying a big ice chest to a dumpster, hearing a thud and then seeing them walk back with the ice chest. And dude, that's rough, man. You know what I mean? That's rough because if that's how they got rid of them, and obviously from the details, we know they didn't both die at the same time, obviously. But it's like if they got rid of one that way, they probably got rid of them both that way. And if that's the case, then we'll never find them. I will tell you that right now. We already learned from the Leilani Simon case how incredibly hard it is to find a little kid's body in a dump, even when they know where it's at. And they were able, in the Leilani Quentin Simon case, they were able to like lock that dump down, and that area where that trash was dumped that day, they were able to lock that down, keep it from being touched, so they can go in and search. And it took them forever, and they only found partial. So that being said, it's like once law enforcement were in full deep in that investigation after hearing some of the things that the West biological children were saying, like, and them realizing like pretty quick, like, hey, this looks like foul play, we got to investigate this. It's like once they got to that point, we're talking months post unaliving that they got that information. And it's like, yeah, they know where that trash was dumped on, and at any given time between then, they could figure out where it's dumped. But we're talking about 3+ months, of that. I mean, it already been dumped. And I'll tell you, from living here and doing plenty of dump runs, that dump is massive, absolutely massive. And man, there's no way. There's no way. Even if they were to like, confess and be like, yeah, that's how we disposed of them, it's nearly impossible that they would ever find those little boys. So, but, I think they knew that. And a lot of people, wonder why they had taken so long to come up with this staged, plan to call law enforcement and be like, oh, the boys went missing and this and that. It was that right there. It was literally that. It's because the way that they got rid of those boys, they knew they needed to let a certain amount of time go by so that they ensured that there was no way for those boys to be found. And guarantee they never even thought that anybody, seen them dumping anything from a large ice chest into some dumpsters, right? Hearing a large, big thud. They never thought that. They probably thought, we got away with it. We just got to come up with a good little plan. The boys got out, and they got lost or they got taken. And dude, go if you can, just go and watch the initial interviews with them when the boys first went missing. I'm telling you right now, when those boys first went missing, the interview with the news that those two were doing, man, I mean, come on. Every one of us that follow true crime and have watched guilty people give interviews prior to them, us finding out they were the guilty one. These two were literally textbook. I mean, absolutely textbook. No emotion, no sense made at all. Contradictions, given statements on things that we end up finding out that aren't true based on their own biological children's testimonies, based on other witnesses' testimonies. It's bananas, dude. Bananas. I mean, literally, The grandma, the adopted grandma, was literally supposedly had went on a car trip to a store with the family, and she can't even remember if she saw the boys in there in the car. Like what? Are you, what are we talking about right now? Like, so I don't know, man. This one just all the way around from those little bits right there, and then the night they call and the boys are missing, right? And the story they give at that point is, a Trezell was out, getting firewood, this and that, and the boys were playing in the backyard, and he had, you guess, went in or whatever, and they were out there by themselves, and somehow they managed to get through a gate that he had, partially, mostly closed, so his dogs wouldn't get out, but he might have left it open a little bit. Like it just does not check out. Law enforcement shows up, they start looking, we got one of the cops on video opening that gate, because when they showed up, it's closed, right? Which is another thing. When they show up, it's closed. And both Trezell and Jacqueline, they both tell the cops that the other one is the one that closed it after the boys went missing. Like, come on, man. So you see a law enforcement officer, a full-grown man, struggling to get the gate open. And you want us to think that those boys were able to get that gate open enough to where they can get out. And two little baby boys. And then the whole story with, they were playing with, chalk in the backyard and this and that, but yet law enforcement can't find any trace of children's footprints in the backyard or leading out of the backyard. Nothing. Like, really? You want us to buy that? Like I said, dude, this right here, like every part of this story, just it screams narcissistic sociopaths. Like, man, and another thing too with this case, it's like this one right here, this might make some people mad because they might be in the program, but dude, our system is broken. When it comes to like the children, the adoption system, all that stuff, it is broken. These two individuals had no place having their own biological children, let alone adopting children. And we know the only reason that they adopted them, because I don't know if a lot of people understand this, right? So there'll be a lot of people from in different states where they don't have this set up, right? And they don't understand that these people were getting paid. When you adopt out here, you get a certain amount of money from the state every month per kid. Now you get more if you adopt siblings, right? So this is like a racket for this family. I mean, like the grandmother did this as well, like lived a totally different life and whatnot, like ain't living like, Trezell and Jacqueline, but nonetheless, like Trezell and Jacqueline got in this because this is already a thing in this family. You know what I mean? So it's just horrible, man. Absolutely horrible. This one's when I talk about it, it's hard to not get a little emotional on it because it's something. Hey, I didn't grow up rich, man. I grew up I a straight poor kid. You know what I mean? Running around streets. I've seen friends being in an adoption situation, so I know how it could be. And just knowing that these two little boys got adopted by these two monsters for money, and then didn't even last but a year in their care before they're unalived. Man, this system's broken, dude. This system is absolutely broken. There needs some serious reform for people that are, adopting children. Like there's like in this type of situation where they're adopting children and they're getting compensation for it from the state. It's like that needs to be looked at way closer. Right? These people need to be psychoanalyzed better. Like there should be some like serious things you got to go through, like more intensive than what's in place right now for you to be able to be in this adoption program like this and receive some type of compensation for taking these kids in like this. I know there's some people out there, good people that do this, and that's great. But there's bad people out there, man, and they're getting a hold of kids like this, and we have no screening process to make sure these babies are all right. It's bananas to me, and it's like they're serial adopters, and they've adopted like including the boys, Sincere and Classic, including those two boys, at least two other kids that they have in adoption besides their own, biological children. So it's like, at what point, is that too many kids to be running through your house with this adoption program? It's one thing if you're adopting children to fulfill, a sense of, having children if you can, or maybe you just want to round out the family, but you want to help out your society, you want to help the baby out and like give them a good home. I get it. But like when you're turning this into a business, like it's a business and it's a family thing because the generation before you did the same thing. Hey, bro, there's got to be some limitations on this, dude. There's got to be some reform on the whole vetting process, just everything. And I feel like for the first couple years, man, I think there needs to be intensive checkups, like more serious, like check-ins from the people running these programs. I don't know, man. I'm at a loss for words, but all I know is everything we know on the timeline, all the evidence we've seen, circumstantial or not, whether they can never find the bodies or not. Like I feel like the evidence speaks for itself. The timeline, what we know, absolutely speaks for itself, man. It does, and I feel like this jury. I pray that this jury like turns around a verdict quick. I mean, I hope it's like, hey, we're gonna go in and let's go ahead and get this knocked out. We're all good, guilty, right? Yeah, let's go ahead and start filling the paperwork out. That's how I hope it goes, and then these people have the full weight of justice upon them for those two little boys. But yeah, guys, that's my feeling on it. Like I said, I put up a video before the trial really got going on, what I knew, how it felt. And then another thing too is like people keep, they're wondering why this trial wasn't televised, why it was under wraps so tight. And there's two different things. One, for sure, the minors, right? Because we're gonna have minors testifying. And so obviously we're definitely not gonna, anytime trials go like this, in a serious trial like this, and there's gonna be minors on the stand, you can bet it's gonna be on lockdown pretty good. And then another thing is out here, BPD, man, they got tagged with a hit piece last year, a documentary, like questioning a lot of things that happen out here. And I feel like between those two things, the courts were like, nah, we're going to go ahead and shut down any like live viewing of this court. Plus there's, minors, like there's just no way. We don't even want it streamed. You can take notes, you can listen to audio live and take notes, but you can't stream it. And that's why I feel like that was that way. So for all the people that aren't really sure and we're kind of upset that they couldn't watch this situation unfold, that's what it is, guys. So that's it. There's no conspiracy behind it. It's just you talking about a case of minors testifying, and then talking about a law enforcement agency that just got tagged with a dirty hit piece. You know what I mean? So that being said, that's where we're at on that. That's my feeling. They're guilty. I hope that freaking jury comes back with some swift justice, baby. Put them behind bars. Put them behind bars. I hope they get maximum sentences. Max. You know what I mean? But that being said, we'll move on to the next one I wanted to get up on. I want to cover today. It don't get much better than, it's not going to get any better. This one's even worse, right? This one's even worse. And that's that Jesse McFadden case that we got going right now. And granted, this monster doesn't get to stand trial. This monster doesn't get to have justice served upon him because he took the coward way out. You know what I mean? He took himself out after he committed some heinous crime. Like, if you haven't watched my videos on this one, on the Oklahoma Slumber Party Massacre, right, which is what they're labeled as over in my videos, go check it out. Because when I started covering this, I told you guys, out the gate, the things that were happening right with those first couple days, the things we were finding out, I was like, they're covering up some stuff. They are covering up some stuff because right out the gate, get alerted to girls missing. And then law enforcement, makes their way to this property, finds what they found, right? Bodies. And then, the man who did it took himself out. So we got the bodies and they're like, oh, that's a wrap. Yeah, he did it. That's self-inflicted. They all got hit. It was like a straight hit. They all were pretty much, assassinated like the mob. Like so. That was a wrap. That's all that they're just gonna call it a wrap right there, right? But I was like, what? That's it? And then all of a sudden we're getting videos and reports of the parents of the victims going to the house on this property and finding some heinous evil stuff. I mean, let's face it, it looked like, that house looked like it was set up to do some really bad things. You know what I mean? Without getting too graphic for the YouTube, we've all seen the pictures, we've all seen the videos. Obviously, if you're even showing up to see this live stream or you're on the replay gang, you guys already have seen it. But I told you guys in my first video, like, hey, they covering something up because to find the bodies and just, hey, this is what happened, that's a wrap, we're going to release the house without going into the house and seeing the chains, and the toys, the adult toys, and the paraphernalia, and the drugs. Man, come on. That was like red flag right off the gate. It was like they weren't going to investigate at all. They weren't going to go to the house at all. They're just going to release it. Well, now we're starting to get a bigger picture of why they did that. Yeah. And like I said, it's a cover up. Now, what level of cover up are we talking about? I don't know. Is this a ring of people in this area that they're covering for? Or is this people within law enforcement that are connected to this McFadden in one way or another? Is it a cover up to save them? Or is it both? Because, dude, it could easily be both. Easily. All right. Months before this happened, you can go back, way back on my videos. I did a parent PSA literally on this type of possibility, right? Talking to parents and imploring parents, like, you need to be that annoying parent that is like, knows everything about what's going on with your child, because we do not live in safe days. We live in some evil times, And in that video, which it was funny because after I posted this video, I noticed like my view count went down. So I don't know if that was like I made people upset, or if YouTube or the algorithm was like, hey, we don't like you talking about this, so we ain't gonna push your stuff out there. But it was a pretty crazy coincidence. But anyways, in this video, I'm imploring parents to be those parents. And I'm not saying helicopter, let them do some things. You got to let your kids do some dangerous stuff like sports and this and that, but in a controlled environment. Letting your kid go and spend time with families that you don't know, that's bananas. It makes no sense to me. And so in this video, I was talking about a situation that was going on, within my realm. And I was trying to implore parents like, yo, like, this is what's up. This is what you need to look for. And in that video, I told parents, go look at the registry in your neighborhood, in your city, the child, the type of guys that are on that registry. Go look at your local registry. Literally months before this thing ever popped, go look at your local registry and prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for what you're going to see, because it's bad, man. They're everywhere. And now we're finding out where this horrible tragedy took place. Dude, the percentage of those offenders is insane. It's high everywhere, but this place was like a mecca. It's almost like they all knew that they could go there and the law would just kind of overlook what they had in their past. And that's a bold statement, right? To make. It's a bold statement to make. They'll overlook it, and, me, implying that a lot of these people know that they can come to this area and it'll be overlooked. But look what we're finding out now. As of today, right? Let's see. Where to start? I had to make a list, guys, because there was so much stuff that just lines up with what I said in my first video about this is a cover up. One level or another, this is a cover up. There's people, I think, on every level, both law enforcement and civilian level, who stand to be in some serious trouble, or at least they should be. And I think once attorneys start getting a hold of this, and the case, because this is going to end up being a case, whether you guys realize or not. We're at journalists investigating it, but that's pushing like the parents to want to push for legal stuff. And I'm telling you right now, once it gets rolling, we're going to find out some crazy stuff. But listen to what we already know. Let's see where to start. One, there's speculations, right? Like people are just like, she had to have known, right? McFadden's wife had to have known. And then some people are like, no, she didn't know. And then we heard that McFadden at one point paid somebody to impersonate the girl that he had victimized that put him in prison originally, paid somebody to go and act like they were that person and talk to his wife and downplay his whole situation, right? Crazy. But now we're finding out that might be true to an extent, but this lady had her own issues. This lady was in her own marriage, right? Her own marriage, and she's pen paling prisoners. She's pen paling felons, bro. And that's how she met Jesse McFadden. She was pen paling his cellmate before his cellmate got transferred or moved from where, being in there with Jesse McFadden. Jesse got the information and started pen paling her back. And that's how that relationship started. So it's like this lady knew he was no good. You know what I mean? Regardless of what lies she got told. I mean, come on. And then the fact that, come on, she was stepping out on her relationship, her marriage. It gets better. It gets better, right? So the man she was married to, Jesse's wife was married to, and they filed divorce in the paperwork, right? They claimed that there was no minor children that would be in the household that are connected to their marriage. But if you go look at the ages on the children and look at the time of the marriage, we know that's a lie. A lot of people are confused on this one, right? They're like, well, maybe they did that so the divorce would go through smoother. Maybe they did that because of child support situations. Nah, it ain't either one of those. You're tripping. They don't want no minors to be on that paperwork, right? Because, wait, she got minors and now she's shacked up with an SO, an offender that's, come on, got busted in prison, and no. What's in literally got busted in prison for having contact with minors. Of course, she ain't gonna put that on any paperwork that she got minors in that house and saying that, oh yeah, my minors they're gonna be living with my boyfriend, soon to be husband, who's an offender of young people, who's actually got a pending trial date for what he did, why he was locked up in prison. The whole thing that he did that should have kept him in prison. Gets better. It does, man. It definitely gets better. Now, not only that, we're finding out McFadden and his wife, they got married by the chaplain, the sheriff, the sheriff's chaplain. Are you? That's what I said. That's what I said. They got married there, where the sheriff's chaplain does the thing at a law enforcement facility. Are you serious? Oh, you want to tell me the chaplain didn't know who Jesse McFadden is or was and why he was in prison in the first place, and yet he's seeing this man gonna get married to this woman that's got kids and he ain't red flagging nothing? Come on. Like I said, guys, cover up. There's a reason why law enforcement out there said, this is what happened. We're going to wrap it up here, release this house to the owner. You know what I mean? And like, hey, it's all over, guys. Nothing to see here. And I wish that was it. But it gets better. It gets better. One of the witness that signed the marriage certificate, I'm not playing. When I say this, if you haven't already heard, I'm not playing it. When I heard, I was like, damn, dude, I was right on such a high level I didn't even realize. But yeah, the witness that signed that paperwork, yeah, works works in the department, is literally the person that's supposed to be putting these offenders on the list. The person that registers these offenders on the list. It's the one that signed the freaking marriage certificate. Take that in. Take that in. Sheriff's chaplain married them, and then the lady that signed the certificate as the marriage certificate as a witness is literally the person responsible for putting these people on the offenders list. She watched him get married to a woman that she knew had children, and her whole job is to make sure that these individuals, these offenders of children, get put on a list where you know that they have done what they've done to children, so you could protect your family and your children from them. But yet she turned around and signed paperwork as a witness to this sick dude getting married to a woman with children. You can't make this up, man. This, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. And then it gets better, man. People are questioning, well, how did he end up even renting this property? Well, come to find out, he was a caretaker, him and his wife, for the property, because technically the individual that they were caretaking the property for, the landlord, legally isn't supposed to be able to rent this house out because of his own divorce proceedings and issues. Yeah. So how are they connected? Well, there's rumor speculation, but let's think about it. Not only is this gentleman going through a situation where he wasn't supposed to be able to rent the property out, he also has an extensive record. Now, small county, right? You would think if this dude did time, or he was, in circles of not so savory people, which it seems that there's a lot of them in that town, there's probably a good chance that either he knew Jesse McFadden from before McFadden rented the place from him, or they had common people that knew each other, and it was just, hey, my buddy needs a place. Oh, I can't rent it out, but I need money, so I'll just put him on as a caretaker, and he could pay this much, and boom, I'm set because I'm in hard time. I'm gonna get a little money from this dude. I don't care what he did in his past. I don't have to claim it or write out any kind of paperwork for it. He's just a caretaker. So that's what's up. And I don't know, man. It's crazy. And as far as the property and the pond situation, a lot of people are like, oh, what was that pond about? What was that pond about? I don't know. I have some speculations on it, but they're not crazy ones. I feel like that ponds, Oklahoma, Texas, I mean, back east, putting ponds on your property is it's a big thing. Like, people do it. If you have property you could do it on, you do it. A lot of people do it. Many reasons why you want a pond. A lot of people run stock fish, they stock their ponds with fish for either fish, food, whatever the case may be, property value, all this. Well, I mean, it's like you have somebody living on your property as a caretaker, and you decide that, I want a pond on that property, you're going to have homeboy do it. So I don't know if there's anything really crazy about that pond situation. But hey, some people think that that pond needs to be like drained and scanned, basically, to see if there was anything maybe underneath that pond, because the simple fact, you go back to my previous videos on this, and I talked about they have like 42 different cell phones linked to this property, and that type of activity tends to lean towards some unsavory things going on, especially with what's been found in that property and what this Jesse McFadden was involved in, right? So a lot of people think maybe there's other victims there. Maybe, when that pond was being dug, the dirt that was displaced was used to cover up other things, which, hey, man, that could be a possibility. But that's going to take all the digital evidence being dug into. Like, we're talking crazy amounts of subpoenas and time to get this type of evidence back. It's not going to be a quick thing. But think about it. None of this would be coming to light right now, right? at all if it was up to law enforcement. If it was up to law enforcement, they would have been like, it's it. We told you guys what happened. This is what happened. We gone. And they tried to do that, but they released the house. And that family, the victims' families, came through and they saw what they saw and they started reporting it. And then news got a hold of it. And you know how the news and the YouTubers and the sleuths, like it's over at that point. If there's even a little shred of something unsavory popping, we're going to be all over it, right? And especially bigger news sources, like News Nation, people like that. We got people like Brian Hinton, dude. The moment like he smells some blood in the water, that boy's on it, man. He's a savage. You don't care. You like him or hate him, that dude, he puts it in. He puts that grind down. And between him and other people like him that have sources and connections, it's now where we're at. You know what I mean? Now we know what we know. And yeah, the thing is it doesn't stop there. So now we're hearing, and like I'd like to have better verification on this, but it sounds like Jesse McFadden also has family that is literally connected to the courts. Yeah. Cover up. What do you think? What do you think? I mean, literally, guys, what do you think? Oh my Lord. And like I said, go back to my other videos. I pretty much laid this out and called it. And then everything that I laid out in those first videos about what I thought about this whole thing, I mean, it's literally coming to light. The law enforcement tried to move fast and past this, and they couldn't. So now we're here. Now we know it's bad. It's worse than we thought. There's people connected to, maybe not this situation happening, but they're at fault because they knew this man was in a position to do horrible things, had a horrible past. Shouldn't happen. The man should have never even been out of prison. I mean, come on, dude. Like, oh, he got, credits. Credits for what? The dude was in jail with contraband and contacting minors. How does he have any credits? And the original crime that got him put in prison in the first place? Bro, I can't even talk about that. Dude, you guys go look at the details on that. It's upsetting. That's all I can say. It's upsetting. And once you get the full rundown on that, it's like between that and the contraband, the cell phone, and then contacting minors while he's in prison, he should have never ever got out of prison. It's crazy, guys. Yeah. But here's another thing we're finding out. Now, this is the last one. And I'm getting close to wrapping this up, man. I know it's been a long live, but hey, it is what it is. You gotta get the information out, right? And my information always comes with them damn opinions. I know some of you agree, some of you don't. It's cool, which way. But the last part is Jesse McFadden's mom. She claimed to know nothing about nothing, had no clue that this type of thing could have happened or was going to happen. Well, now she's coming out and admitting that literally the day before this happened, her son, Jesse McFadden, called her and was basically telling her that he's going to do something crazy and probably end his own life. So you're telling me your son, who got put into prison for an assault on a girl, right? Got put in prison, assault on a girl, and then caught extra charges while he was in prison for contacting minors. Is literally talking about his life being over, talking crazy, and you didn't report that? What? I mean, what? How? How aren't you gonna? Serious, guys. I don't. I don't know, man. I don't know. Um, I don't know what she was thinking. That's what I don't know. But what I do know is that this case is going to get worse. We're going to find more stuff out. Uh, yeah, we're going to find some more stuff out about Mr. McFadden and what he was doing in the home. And I don't think it's going to be good. I think once we get a full scale investigation going, like, I think there's going to be some really bad stuff coming out because the 42 cell phones connected to that property, the fact that this man who shouldn't even have been renting this property was on this property, modifying this home the way it was modified, the evidence that's been found after the case, um, the bloody toddler's clothes found under the floorboards, bro, it's gonna get bad. And what's gonna come out is not gonna be good. And outside of just what he's done that's gonna come out, it's like law enforcement's connection and responsibilities for this type of stuff, I think what we're about to see is going to be bad. And I think it's going to be bad in a way that it's going to make a lot of people question even their local law enforcement and start asking serious questions, man. And that needs to happen, honestly. I mean, every crime is in an uptick right now, right? We're seeing more and more of all these kinds of heinous crimes, but not enough people are talking about these type of individuals that are amongst us. There's a lot of these individuals amongst us that are registered, but there's a lot of them that aren't, that haven't been caught yet. And like I've said in other videos, if you guys have not watched any of these, let's say, child SO poachers, right? Guys that go after and try to set these type of individuals up and bust them on video. There's a bunch of them on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble. Just go do a search. Just find one of these guys' pages and look how many people each one of them has busted. And most of them are multiple time offenders, and they still keep doing it. It's I implore every parent out there, every parent, pay attention. I know there's a lot of bad things in this world you just want to act like don't exist. You know what I mean? It's kind of like conversations. You're in a conversation with new people, like nobody wants to bring up politics or religion, right? Well, this is like one of those topics nobody wants to talk about. It seems like nobody's talking about it. Unless something pops up, something crazy like this pops up, nobody wants to talk about it. But dude, this is a plague on our country. Like, these people are numerous. And like I said, a lot are registered, but a lot aren't. So keep your eyes and your ears open. Pay attention to what your children are doing. Be involved in their lives. Take the extra time. Dude, take it. It ain't gonna take you but 10 minutes, 15 minutes to jump online and do a search. Search it. Search the registry and see what is around you. I'm telling you guys, it's bad. It's really, really bad, man. And I'm not saying this like to shame the parents of the victims. I'm not, you know what I mean? Because it's like, even if they were to do a search, like, this dude wouldn't have come up, like they wouldn't have found much on it. You know what are they like most? So it's like, you can't even fault the parents for this situation. Like, this is straight up on law enforcement. That's why this one's so bad. It's like the most horrible, heinous outcome, and it's an outcome that shouldn't even have been a possibility. It shouldn't even have been a possibility. Law enforcement should have never let this man out of prison, and then this man should have never even been able to pick up a home where he picked up a home, on a property where he could get away with things because a property owner, it wasn't even supposed to have him there. You know what I mean? So he ain't gonna go check up on this dude. He's just gonna receive his money and be quiet. And then the day before it happens, Jesse's mother gets this phone call from crazy Jesse talking about, like, his life's over, this and that, knowing full well he's implying he's about to do something nuts. Shouldn't happen. None of this should happen. But one, that community out there needs to like band together and help those parents push for full scale investigation. I mean, I believe that this ain't just this isn't like an internal investigation that needs to happen where another county's law enforcement comes in. No, this needs to be them boys up top. You know what I mean? FBI. They need to come in and do an internal investigation on this and get the full scale investigation popping, because there's a lot of bad things going on in that town, in that county. And I think it's going to take law enforcement at that high level to come in and actually figure it out. Because, I mean, when you have the things that have happened that are connected to this case happen, people are looking out for each other in those law enforcement, offices. Like, they're looking out for each other. They have to be. It's the only explanation for why they would have cleared that scene, gave the story they gave, and released that home before ever collecting any evidence. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense. Man, I still the details, man, the details. It's crazy. But that's all I got for you guys on the McFadden case. Man, got some craziness happening in this world. Got some absolute craziness happening in this world. And, we just covered three today. Two cases, one trial. And that's a minute fraction of all the crazy cases and trials that are happening on the daily in this country. It's insane, guys. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the cases and the trials. And I just want to touch on some thanks and some love, some shout outs to all the subscribers that have subscribed, all the people that actually smash that like button, people that go and watch my videos, that come back now that I'm doing lives, that might hit the replay, check the lives out. Much love to you all. And then also I want to throw a big shout out to all the supporters I've had that have come over from Dolly True Crime, that have subbed me up, giving me love. Shout out to all those that are supporting me on the game show Turtle Island that Dolly True Crime puts on. Appreciate you guys. After this last episode, I don't know how long I'll last on Dolly True Crime, because it seemed like some people don't like me because of my name, because they can't pronounce my name or they don't understand my name, even though I've told them in videos over and over. Like, I literally start the video saying my name, the real Piscine Predator, and that seems to be pretty tough for people. So, like, when you can't pronounce my name, it pretty much tells me that you haven't even watched the video. So you're probably, gonna vote me off based on the fact that, I don't know, you don't like the face or you don't like the name, but you probably haven't watched the video because you can't even pronounce the name. And just one more time, I'll explain the name. Piscine means fish-like. The Piscine, the fish-like predator, which is just basically a play on the fact that I'm an avid fisherman and I will fish for anything. So I am a predator of fish-like creatures. That's what the name means. That's pretty simple. It's pretty damn simple. So, and then also I'm a Pisces too, so it's kind of a play on that. You know what I mean? So that's what the name means. Once again, hopefully people get it. Hopefully learn how to pronounce it, because I ain't changing it. You know what I mean? I literally woke up in the middle of the night after I had started my YouTube channel, right? I had just a different name based on, it was still fish, and it had to do more with like I used to run in a aquatics department, so it was kind of geared towards that. And I had switched over doing fishing videos, dip videos. And I was like, man, I really want to change my name and my channel, something that, is cool, catchy, different. Then I remember I woke up in the middle of the night and like, I'm not even playing. Like the first thought was like, yo, Piscine. Pisces. Like, I was like, man, you know what? That sounds good. The Piscine Predator, the real Piscine Predator. That's what we're gonna go with. And I've been that ever since. So I ain't changing that, regardless if I do true crime now and it doesn't necessarily mash together. I mean, come on, there's a lot of people that do true crime and their names don't really reflect true crime unless they actually follow the name up with true crime or investigates or whatever. So anyway, so I'm gonna keep it, original and keep my name, regardless if people can pronounce it or not. You can call me the real, you can say TPP, whatever is easy for you. But yeah, that's what the name is. That's what it means. So hopefully that clarifies it for some people that don't know. What else? I think that's about it, guys. So much love to everybody that's put votes in for me on Turtle Island. Much love to all the subscribers that come and smash that subscribe. All the subscribers that hit that like, possibly share my videos, at least tell other people about me. I know I'm not for everybody, you know what I mean? Everybody's got their own tastes out there, but I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that like somebody that just keeps it factual, you know what I mean? Keeps it, keeps it real, you know what I mean? Hit to the name, the real Piscine Predator. But all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. Let's stop rambling, wasting y'all's time. Much love to you all. I haven't got no chats from any of the people I've seen pop in on this live. So if y'all hit the replay gang later, if you could hit me up in the comments, let me know what you think about the lives. Let me know what you think about the info, the cases I've covered. I'd appreciate it greatly. Yeah, but that's going to do it for today's stream. I might put out some more stuff later today in small clips. I might go live later again. Who knows? We'll see what kind of information is coming out today. You know what I mean? We'll see what comes out that interests me. Yeah, but that's it, guys. It's your boy, the Piscine Predator. And until next video. Oh, Rooster Cakes, bro, you jump in right now? You jumping in right now? I'm about to wrap it up, bro. Oh, cool. I get it, bro. I know you work, bro. I know you work. You was sleeping. Well, dude. Yeah, I mean, no worries, brother. No worries. It was cool to just see somebody jump up here and actually start chatting me up, bro. That's cool. For sure. I'll hit you up on that Discord. But I'm gonna wrap this one up. I'm gonna get with my boy on Discord, see what he's got to say. I might jump back on later, see what it is, see how quick I can get my workout and my swim on. Much love to you, brother. I hope the show was lit. I hope it was lit, bro. I hope that's what people feel. You know what I mean? We'll see. We'll see what y'all say. But yeah, I'm gonna give my boy. I'm gonna go hit a workout, hit that pool, see what else is popping. I might jump back on, but for sure, I'll probably put some reels together for all the real watchers. You know what I mean? And other than that, guys, yeah, it's your boy, the Piscine Predator. Much love, y'all. Peace.